Longmenshan Fault. This tunnel spans 19.98 kilometers long, and the whole construction takes over 3,600 days to complete the whole construction work. So behind me, there is still over 10 kilometers long in the tunnel, and above us is over 1,400 kilometers high. So this tunnel is deep into the ground. This tunnel, actually, we have been working on it for over 10 years. We have just opened the main line. There is still much more to be done in the construction. The whole construction takes 3,160 days. And each day, we go deeper by 6 meters. So it's not that fast. But today we are very honored to interview a technician from the local construction team. Hi. You have been working on it for over 10 years. I know it's very challenging to do the construction. And you have worked so hard to move forward this far. So can you tell us more about this construction? Well, this project is located in the southwest part of China, the most completed geographical conditions. It has some features like the complexity of the geographic conditions. Since we opened the construction work, we have gone through 3,160 days in our construction. And now this left part of the line was opened, and it's 6.3 meters deep. The left line, two facets of the left line was under construction. So the tunnel was built from both ends until each end meets each other in the middle part. Yes. Well, it takes us 2 days to finish 1 meter, to dig 1 meter. So can you show us around? Yes. You can see this transformative part of the rock to the surface of the rocks. We embed 2 layers of steel structures onto the surface of the rock. As you said, this part is located in the Longmenshan Fault with severe geographical conditions. We face a lot of challenging situations, and also lots of dangers lie ahead. You mentioned the soft rock, so can you tell us a bit more about it? Well, the deformation of the soft rock is caused by squeezing. The deformation takes place once the rock is squeezed. So in order to control the situation, we rolled out a number of measures. Like we used the arch to support the structure. And later we will have the chief engineer. This is our chief engineer who will give you more information about it. We have seen the opening of the left line of the Yuelongmen tunnel. What have you gone through in the construction? Well, one of our tasks is to control the deformation of the soft rock, as mentioned. And in front of us is the machinery for opening the tunnel. And the size is 1.2 meter plus times 1.2 meters. And this is done to control the deformation of the rock. It is very important to make sure that the rock is not deformed. So you installed these facilities to make sure the mountainous area keeps its shape. Yes, to prevent the tunnel from being deformed. I learned that some of the part is made of rock and mud, and the softer rock. To open up a tunnel in such a challenging situation, what kind of difficulties you have encountered? We have discovered lots of different types of stones in the tunnel. For example, the granite and other kinds of rocks. And if the rock is solid and hard, then it's more favorable to the tunneling. But if it's not, then it will be more challenging. I will show you some surface of the rocks. We have installed the steel structure to boost the support. And as you can see, it contains the concrete, so it's very hard. So we installed different parts of the steel structure, and we connected the different parts to form an oval structure. Well, the widest part lasts 9 meters. You mentioned it takes the shape of arch. So how many layers of arch do you apply to the surface? We embedded dual layers of the arch to prevent it from being deformed. And we imposed another layer to make it harder. This place has both the hard rock and the soft rock. So what different techniques do you apply to the rocks? Well, for slight deformation, we apply 4-meter arch. But for more serious deformation, then we apply a larger size, like a 6-meter or 8 meters arch. Well, how can you apply an 8-meter arch? Well, the single size is 4 meters, and we can add additional parts to make it longer. To prevent it from the soft rock from being deformed, what kind of how thick is the steel structure? Well, it has something to do with the thickness of the steel part. If we need a more intense layer of structure, for example, we have an oval shape. It will generate a stronger effect. So, in the process of construction, we tried our best to make sure it keeps an oval structure. So aside from this surface, you apply another layer of structure, another toolkit, right? Yes. The chief engineer has just briefed us the process of applying the steel structure and then spraying the concrete. And also, we need the nails. After the nails are applied, another layer of surface is applied to the rock. But I have a question. Since every measure is in place, why is the water still dripping from the ceiling? I learned that your tunnel has 3 to 4 layers of enforcement, fortification. So why is the water from the ceiling dropping to the ground? It's because this place is in a rainy season. There is a lot of rain drops. So the rain will drip from the fault of this mountain. That's why you can see the water is dripping from the ceiling. Just now, our chief engineer, Mr. Yang, briefed us on the techniques for maintaining the tunnel. Because this place is in the southwest part of China, and we are in a rainy season, especially in summer time, the water can be very quick, even like waterfalls. So many parts of the road are destroyed, flooded with muds. So the water can be very fast in the tunnels. That has something to do with the season, but also has something to do with the geographical conditions. The mutual reaction of the rocks makes it easy for the rain drops to drip. And this is one of our challenges. You know, the water, the mud will make it very difficult for construction. So what kind of countermeasures do you have to prepare for this situation? Well, we design different parts of the tunneling work. So in the midterm of the project, we will have a tunneling machine to push ahead the construction. And we will have a machine to detect the water in a three-dimensional way. So the engineer Yang mentioned the situations that water can appear in the tunnel. So some parts of the tunnel has already been constructed, but it forms some streams. That means water is flowing even after the construction is finished. And this place is reserved for discharging the water from the tunnel. We need to discharge the water out of the tunnel. And this is one of our headaches during the construction. Of course, we meet a lot of challenges in the construction. Right now, the construction has been suspended, but I can still feel it's very hot here. I'm sweating. Before I entered the tunnel, I was dressed in a down jacket. But inside the tunnel, I feel so hot, even with this light jacket. So I have a question. Why is it so hot here? Why is the temperature so high inside the tunnel? My name is Wang Dexiang. This place is very hot due to the geothermal. The temperature is even higher than the surface temperature, than the ground temperature. That's because we are quite deep into the ground. The temperature here is as high as 41 to 42 degrees Celsius. Do you have a thermometer? Can you show us the thermometer for recording the temperature inside the tunnel? So what's the reason for the high temperature inside the tunnel? That's because we are deep into the Earth's shell, the Earth's crust. So naturally, the temperature is higher than the ground temperature. To put it in a simple way, we are much closer to the core of the Earth, so the temperature is higher than the ground temperature. So is the temperature the same across 4 seasons? The high temperature, does it create any difficulty for pressing ahead with the construction? Of course, it makes it more difficult for the construction workers. Some cannot suffer from the high temperature, so they quit. And they quit very quickly. So the people change very fast. So what do you do to keep the people? Well, we try to convince them, try to talk them into staying in the project, and we take some ice cubes into the tunnel to make them to make this place cooler. And we even provide some cooling food, like the green soybean soup for our staff. Now we are 1,400 meters deep into the ground. We learned that this place is facing some situations like the water dripping, like the high temperature, and these are visible phenomenon. And meanwhile, we face some invisible challenges inside the tunnel. This engineer is exploring the rock. From my perspective, I cannot see clearly what he is doing, but I will let him introduce. My family name is Sun. I am the project leader of the safety team. Well, this machine is for detecting the gas. It uses the lighting method to detect the gas. Gas has the risk of exploding. With a density of 10%, it will have a risk of explosion. So we need to keep the density within a safe range. We have to keep the density of the gas at 0.087%. Before we upload the powder, we need to be very cautious about not causing any explosion. And we are keen to give the feedback of the statistics, the density of the gas. Well, in the morning time, the highest density of the gas is 0.2%. And this place in 2018 was credited as a low-density gas region. But these 2 years, it has moved to a high-density region. We are cautious to keep the density at 8 metric centimeters per minute. So you used this tool to detect the gas. What else do you detect inside the tunnel that we cannot see? Well, this toolkit that I can hand easily detected the gas density here is 0.003%. And the sulfur hydrogen is 0. If it is above 0, that means it's quite poisonous. And it's bad for the nose and for the respiratory system. The risk is the highest when you do not smell it. Well, I have some problem with my nose. I mean the rhinitis. So I cannot smell anything. Well, the engineer just introduced us the dangers and the risks of the construction work within the tunnel. Because we face many difficulties, the construction was delayed again and again to make sure safety is the priority. The whole length of this tunnel is 40 kilometers. But the whole tunnel lasts 70 kilometers. Why is that? Can you tell us more details? Well, the Yuelongmen tunnel is very complicated. From the exit to entrance is 20 kilometers. So the dual tunnel is 40 kilometers. The Yuelongmen tunnel is the very first tunnel that traverses the Yueyun district. You can see the main course spans 20 kilometers, and we have to side it well. We have an exterior well, and we have an interior shaft. So altogether, we have 70 kilometers. This is the longest inside China. So from this map, from the entrance to the exit, 2 tunnels, together 40 kilometers. For sake of the construction, to make it easier for construction, during the construction, we opened a lot of side tunnels to make the whole construction safer. The point is well taken, but I learned there are a lot of red lights, traffic lights in the tunnels. Yes, when the tunnel is opened, we may have a problem regarding the traffic. How do people travel inside the tunnel? How do we move in the materials? So we opened up several side tunnels. When the traffic reached its peak, there can be as many 560 vehicles at the same time. So when the drivers move in, they can see both the left side and the right side. But if they travel inside the tunnel, it's difficult for them to see the environment. So we worked with the Southwest University of China and the Chengdu-Lanzhou Railway Corporation, and we invented a traffic control system, and we inserted the traffic lights so that the traffic can follow the signals and can be directed in a more efficient way. So the reason is the tunnel is too long, making it difficult for traffic. The situation is very complicated inside the tunnel. That's why you put in place the traffic lights, right? Yes. So on this map, from the Chengdu Prairie to the Tibetan Plateau, there is around 2,000 kilometers. So how long is the slope? Well, the angle is of 17.8 degrees. And the slope can be very steep. So the entrance is the Chengdu Prairie. And the highest part is the Tibetan Plateau. Well, thank you for your information. So the Yuelongmen Tunnel faces a lot of challenges like the mud, the flood, the water drops. Besides, also some dangers like the gas and poisonous gas. This has made it more difficult for pushing ahead the construction. So the left line of the tunnel has been opened, but the right line remains to be opened. Hi, I just learned from your colleagues that the left line has been opened. So when do you envisage the right line to be opened? Well, the right line is predicted to be over 900 meters. Hopefully, by the first half of 2022, it will be opened. You know, the left line took 9 years to open up the tunnel, but the right line, it seems to take another 10 years to finish. Why didn't you open up the right line and the left line at the same time? Because the right part also contains high density of gas. So that means we face a higher risk of gas. So the ventilation and the traffic remains a challenge for the right part. And the Yuelongmen Tunnel is a key point for traffic that spans over 138 kilometers. So our general arrangement is to open the Yuelongmen Tunnel first, so that the surrounding areas can enjoy the facility, enjoy much more feasible traffic conditions. That's why I opened up the left line first. So you mean opening up the left line first makes it easier for opening up the rest? from Chengdu to Mianyang. It means we are moving from the plain to the mountainous area until we move to the plateau. It means the land is growing higher and higher. So the altitude is getting higher and higher from Chengdu to the Tibetan plateau. What kind of positive results do you think this tunnel has brought to the local area? Well, the altitude spans from 0 to over 3,000 meters. So after the tunnel is opened, because this place is prone to earthquakes, this tunnel makes it easier for traffic and makes it less susceptible to the earthquake. And this tunnel connects the southwest part of China and the southeast and the northwest part. So just now, the Commander Xiao introduced to us the general layout of the Yuelongmen tunnel. We are 1,400 meters deep into the ground. And I guess you can see from the image that the signal is running not smoothly today. We face a lot of challenging geographical conditions like the mud, the raindrops, the gas, the sulfur, hydrogen. But despite that, we have opened up the left line, and the right line will be opened roughly at the March to May next year. And we are happy to see that this tunnel has been opened and it will be open for traffic soon. So we do hope the whole line will be connected and the traffic can run in this tunnel. And we hope this will generate more favorable conditions for the local tourism. That's the end of today's live stream. Thank you for watching.